do the replay here. So today's class is April 14th. This is 8th period pre-AP 7th and 8th grade art. Essentially, this class is a review of the last project. I want to show you guys some of the things that you made, which totally brought a smile to my face and made me really happy. So I'm excited to show you guys. And secondly, I want to introduce you to the next project. So a few things I want to mention though. Because you guys are pre-AP, I want to be able to do projects with you, but since I'm an elective teacher, I'm an art teacher, I'm supposed to only give you 20 minutes of work a week. And so 3 weeks of our digital class will be an hour of work outside of our digital class. So you're going to have like 3 weeks to do this one thing, and it's going to be broken down into tiny little sections. But if you want to work ahead, you can. And also, if you ever get done with the projects and you, hi Evelyn, and you want to add, or you want to do another project and you don't quite know what to do, please email me, because before I knew that I could only give you a certain amount of work a week, I did this giant brain dump of projects that I could teach you guys from home. So I would more than love to give you another assignment, and I am trying to keep it really relevant to like the pandemic and coronavirus, because here's what I've realized since I'm an art teacher through this whole thing is I feel still excited to teach and still excited to do these projects because they can still be about you guys as individuals. Like I can look at your art and I can see who you are, and I can see who made this versus who made that. And I also really love it because we can make art about the things that are happening in the world, and it seems like it is relevant, right? Like it doesn't seem senseless, or like, why does this even matter? So that's why I'm still really excited about teaching it. And if you ever want another extra assignment to do, like besides the very little bit that I'm giving you every week, then please let me know, because I would love to give you some extensions. On that note, I shared the link with you guys in Google Classroom for my Flipgrid. I haven't looked at it to see if anybody's uploaded anything, but Flipgrid is essentially, it's an app or a website where you can upload videos of yourself or of your artwork or pictures. And that's really cool, because as we do this project, or just as you're creating your own artwork, or if you just miss the people in your class, you can film a video and say hi and communicate that way. And it's a little less official than than turning something into Google Classroom or to Artsonia necessarily. And that way I can see, or your classmates can see, what things are looking like in progress, which I think is really cool, a really neat way to connect. And you might as well get it, because I'm making that like part of the assignment next week anyways. And so yeah, get Flipgrid. That link is on the Google Classroom stream, and I even filmed like a video in there for the introduction one. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here and show you guys some of the things you made. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Da-na-na-na. Okay, so I divided it up into 7th and 8th grade just because I wanted you guys to see like different age groups of what was created. So up here I have scissors that are walking a paint tube with a paintbrush. I'm going to show you some of them up close. There's an eraser man. Here's a cutie man. There's a lot of just different materials, and I love that with art, like I'm still able to give you guys one project and get all these different responses. So a few that I wanted to highlight a little bit here are like this one, which is adorable. JC Hottinger did this one. She used one of those like little trays and spray painted it blue, and then made it into like a little pool. And then she created little sunglasses people and made a scene. And I just love it because I think it tells a story and it has personality. And there's a lot of little details that you can look at throughout this. You got your cereal people. You got a monkey ziplining. And this little creature that has like little headphones. So the reason that I really like these is because they all have like a little bit different personality. They're all the response to the same thing, but we used different materials and we used what we had. So they put a smile on my face and I really loved it. And then here's some of the 8th grade ones I got. If you turned it in past Friday, I didn't put yours on here. But this is Brooke's little egg cucumber like clip person. One that I wanted to kind of highlight is Belle's. It's a murdered marshmallow, and I just thought it was clever how she like even put like the little footprint and evidence markers. I don't know what she made the blood with, but the fact that this little marshmallow has been murdered and there's a crime scene, I don't know, it just lit me up. I wanted to show you some of the 9th grade ones as well. So here are some of the 9th grade entries. You have a little toast bear. You have a potato owl that's kind of giving me creepy vibes. This is a stack of pancakes made out of records, which is really cool. This is a sandwich with berry hair, and she used pork rinds, orange peel and bread, and the bread crust is for the lips. This is one that was kind of a play on the fact that like we're doing all of our homework online and we're doing all of our work online nowadays because the stuffed animals on the Chromebook. And I appreciated this one just because it was a little bit more of a serious take on it, but also because she used lighting and color to kind of give it a more cryptic message. And then this just made me smile because it's like a little banana boat, and she made like a fishing pole, and she's going fishing for cough drops, and I don't know, like these just have a lot of personality, and I think they're adorable. Some people drew theirs. If you're the person that did that, that's totally cool. It wasn't really an assignment, but it's actually a harder assignment, so I'm cool with that. I still give everybody credit that did that. And one like way to extend this, if you wanted to extend this assignment, is to take the things that you created. So you could take this little cutie guy and you could put him in a work of art, you know? So think about how to extend these projects too, if you're kind of stuck for ideas and things to create outside of this. Okay, so your project for the next time is called CoronaMaison. Mason, and that's probably not how you pronounce it at all, but Mason means house in French. Or that word, however you pronounce it, means house in French. And so this is what your next assignment is going to be called, and it's going to make more sense in a second. But I want you to think about real quick, if you were in one room for the remainder of this quarantine, what would you want to be in there with you? Like, would you want your pets? Would you want a certain person? Would you want your sketchbook? Would you want some plants? Like, not just one thing necessarily, but just think of something that comes to mind, and I want you to comment it in the chat box. I'm going to do that too. I'll wait for y'all to do that. I got these blue light blocking glasses, but I don't wear glasses, so I feel like it makes me look too nerdy, but it's supposed to like not hurt your eyes from staring at a screen. iPad, yes. Pads, yes. Phone, yes. My husband, Destiny, my husband is addicted to Animal Crossing right now, so I feel that. So if you haven't commented on there, then still comment, but I'm going to keep talking. So this is a challenge. The reason that there's a hashtag there is it's an internet challenge that you guys are going to do, but I'm going to kind of talk through the background of it. Phone, sketchbook, iPad, love it. So this is an artist up in the top right here. Her name is Penelope Bagu, and she's an illustrator that's based in France right now, during the coronavirus times. And so she is an illustrator and an artist. And something that I think is cool about her, I'm going to kind of show you some of her drawings here. So she writes her own books and then illustrates them, but I think about how a lot of my students think if they aren't very good at realism, then they're not very good at art. And you can still be successful in the art world, even if you aren't a very realistic representational artist. So you see how her figures are kind of weird and kooky, but they still get the point across, and she's still a very successful illustrator in her own style. So I followed her on Instagram because I wanted to see the behind the scenes. I love that right now you can follow comedians and musicians and artists on Instagram and get a little sneak peek into what they're creating, but also into their day-to-day lives. So here's her cat and some yarn and a camera, you know, her like coronavirus stuff going on. And she's even drawing characters that are related to scenes and kind of the way that she's seeing people right now. So people with masks on, people cooking, like this person's just listening to music on their phone, this person's doing yoga, and this is a artwork that she did based off just stuff that was in her home, right? But a social media challenge that she put out was called hashtag CoronaMaison, or that would be Corona House in English, right? Oops. So she put out this template, and obviously that Twitter post is in French right there because she's from France, but I'm going to translate it for you. So it says, on this design, I challenge you to draw the floor, the decor, the company, the animals, the food, the windows, the ideal place to be confined during the remainder of this pandemic. And so she put out this challenge to the social media world, but also to a bunch of people in her art community in France and beyond. And so this is what she created for it. So let's take a look-see here. There's lots of color, there's lots of detail, there's lots of things. I really love the colors and like her style that she used here. But if I pan backward real quick, check out that template. It's really blank. You just got the stairs, and that's it. It's just a blank room. And so when we're looking at this, she added carpet and designs on the stairs. She added plants pretty much everywhere. There's picture frames on the walls. She added windows. Like, I'm not trying to be confined in a space without windows, you guys. I don't know if she lives near a beach, but this looks like a beach scene. She has a hammock, books, a puzzle, a sketchbook, a guitar, different rugs laying out. She has crystals over here, coffee pot, coffee mugs. And what I think, there's a few things that I think is really cool about this challenge. Number one is you can tell a lot about this person based on the stuff that they put in their CoronaMaison. And you can tell a lot about that. So I can tell that she does yoga, she plays guitar, she likes her coffee, she likes to draw and create. She kind of has a boho looking style, and she loves plants. Like, we would probably get along really well. Like, I can feel a little bit of her personality in this. The second thing I really love about this is nothing in here is really that difficult to draw. It's a lot of doodles. So if I gave you guys this image and I was like, hey, everybody, just copy this exact thing, I feel like you guys could do so for the most part. Like, if you look at this little cup, it's just a shape with a little handle next to it, right? The shelf is just a rectangle. This lamp is just a wonky triangle. So she's built up these doodles throughout this drawing, but nothing is super complex. It's just that she created a ton of detail in her artwork that makes you want to continue looking at it. It's like one of those picture books, right? And what I really love about this is that, again, like, if you can go outside and draw a beautiful picture of a tree, like, I commend you. That's amazing. I love it. But I might look at that and say, great tree, good job, but I don't want to keep looking at it. So something that I think is really interesting about this is, like, I want to keep looking at it. And your mind kind of creates a narrative. It creates stories about what happens in this room, who created this room, what are all the things in it. And it engages you more with that artwork because it's something that you can relate to. It's something that you can explore visually. And so this is an example of an exquisite corpse drawing. So at the beginning of the year, for those of you that were in my class at the beginning of the year, and last year, I had everybody like section up a piece of paper into 3 sections, right? On one section, one person drew the head, and then they folded it and passed it face down to another person. And then that person drew the body, and they folded it and they passed it face down to another person, and that person drew the legs. At the end, we opened it up, and it was this wonky figure. And so this is a similar thing, right? So an exquisite corpse drawing it, an exquisite corpse art project, the reason that it's called that is a type of work where artists create works with one theme, but with no information on what other artists are doing. And then at the end, it's all put together. And so let's talk through this in the form of this assignment, right? Is that you are all going to create a response to it, but you're not going to know what everybody else is creating. And then at the end, it's all going to be put together. I'm actually going to physically put it together to create like a house. But the artist that put out this challenge actually created a giant web page where you can just scroll down and you can see everybody's ideal coronavirus pandemic room that they have created. And that makes it, yes, an individual artwork for each of those people, but also a big collaboration between a ton of people all over the world of different ages, of different walks of life, from different countries. And how awesome is that? I think that right now we're in this space where we're all going through the same human experience, and that not everybody is experiencing it the same, but like we're all being affected by this. And it's something that everybody all over the world is being affected by. So it's cool that just like that, everybody in the world can respond to this art challenge and respond to this in a different way, but that it can all come together. It's like a shared human experience, right? So different artists create their ideal room, and at the end of this challenge, they can all be added together to create one entire room. And she does that because the artists that create their work, they use the hashtag CoronaMaison and they post it to social media, and then she takes that picture and puts it on the giant web page. So here's some examples of some artists that have responded to this in different ways, right? So this artist, Nicholas Gendron, he on the right created, these are just his artworks. And then this is his response on the left over here. But you can see that some of his art style is incorporated in his response, right? And a thing that I wanted to mention about what he created with it is he used colors that he loved. He used his own art style. He kind of made it into a funny thing. Like, you probably wouldn't necessarily want this giant eating plant situation in your ideal space, but he kind of took it in a different way where he made it a little funnier, which is totally okay. Like, I used this example last class, but if you're Caitlin, if you want a giant Bernie Sanders cutout sitting next to you on the couch, like, I really don't care. It's totally up to you. But he even created, like, I like how he incorporated this brick. Again, it's not a hard thing. It's just another little detail that adds interest to his work. He added a balcony. So he even extended this room and added on to it. And you're going to see some more examples of that in a minute. But I wanted to show you that. And then here is a studio by an artist named Pablo R. That's all they gave me in the article. I don't know. But a studio is where, like in a city, they have studio apartments, and it's basically people live in one room. And so one room is most of your needs, right? And so he has his TV, his couch, his mini fridge, his workspace down here, yoga mats for exercise, and a place to where he can draw. And that's all incorporated in one room. And just like that other one, I can tell a lot about this person just by the things that are in his room. Like, there's a Blade Runner poster back there. There's a map poster. This one says "Smash the Patriarchy" on it, so I can tell you maybe he has some political leanings. He has a gaming system here. So again, think about detail. Think about his style, how he's a pen and ink artist, and he left it black and white because that's his style of artwork. That's totally okay. And some people even were like, okay, like, I love this idea, but I want to create it in a three-dimensional space or in a different kind of way. And so they didn't even use the template that the artist put out, but instead they created their own thing. It still has the staircase over here. It still has people in their ideal space, but it was just done a little bit differently, which is really awesome. These people look like they're playing pool. This guy is hanging out with his cat. There's a fan back here because you don't want it to be hot. They have dartboards. These people are playing video games. There's plants. There's way too many people in their coronavirus scenario, by the way. That's a lot of people. But again, like, their ideal space. And the way that I do this as a teacher is, right now it's 2:20. So at 2:30, your assignment is going to be posted to Google Classroom automatically. I schedule it ahead of time. And on that assignment, you're going to have this slideshow, and you're going to have the template. That way you can download the template if you want to later on. And so you can click on this link and view other examples of French artists that have responded. But I want you to use these artworks. Hi, Brooke. I want you to use these artworks as examples and as things to inspire you, but not to copy off of. But you can even say, like, oh, I love how this person created an extra room back here with a little reading nook. That's really neat. Maybe I'll do that with my room. Or I really love, like, these bookshelves or this door. Or maybe you don't want dinosaurs in your ideal coronavirus room, but you do like the way that they did the window or the way that they added color. So feel free to use these artists as inspiration. And again, like people just responding to all kinds of ways. Like this one up in the top right is more of a cozy living room kind of situation. They have like I honestly have been showing this all day and I have not even noticed, like if this is like a room where they have something trapped, I don't know what's happening, but it's definitely intriguing. And then there's just two people hanging out. But they have like a little record player, they have lamps sitting around, they have this giant library. There's animals in this one and a guy playing guitar on his computer. But then there's another chick over here, and they have a certain arrangement of the way things are. But he even added a whole other room back here that looks like a kitchen. These people just look like they're having a grand old time. They're having a party. That's fantastic. They have like a DJ booth down here. Their space is very cluttery. They look like they're dancing. And then this artist over here viewed it as more of a funny thing. Like this is in French, but I'm assuming just from context clues that these are two parents that are kind of hiding from their children who are making the house like an absolute terror. This little girl is like looking at a book and like her eyes are twitchy, and this boy is like dropping stuff. There's toilet paper ran all over the thing. Pictures are knocked off the walls. Things are splattered on the wall. That's not maybe their ideal space, but it's just maybe a space that they've created to respond to this challenge, right? And again, you can click through these examples, use them as inspiration. But I want you to notice that, like, again, different artists respond to this in different ways. So I was talking about this in last class. Like, I feel like for the most part, I can look at a lot of your work, especially if I've had you for 2 years, but even if I've just had you for a full semester, and tell like, oh, this would be Tatum's response versus this would be Callie's response, you know? I want to be able to see some of you in it. And so your assignment for this week is just to create a list of 10 things, at least 10 things, you can add more, that you would like to have with you in your ideal coronavirus quarantine room. And this needs to be uploaded to Google Classroom. You can write a list on a notepad and take a picture of it and turn it into Google Classroom. You can do it on a Google Doc. It can have more than 10 things. In the future, like if say you put that you want a swimming pool in your house, I'm not going to make you put a swimming pool in your house like later. I just want us to be brainstorming, okay? That's the only thing that you have to turn into me this week for a grade. That should take you 5 minutes. The other thing that you need to do is either print out or draw the template for next week's assignment. So 2 options there. Number 1, if you have a printer, then you are a lucky son of a gun, because you can just take the template that I provided for you here and I'm uploading it to the Google Classroom assignment as a link, and you can print that out and then you're done. If you don't have access to a printer, then what you can do is you can just draw a room in your sketchbook. The staircase does not have to look exactly like this staircase. It can look however you want. Just do your best on it. It does need to have the lines that kind of go back into space, so that way it makes this room look like it's 3-dimensional. But beyond that, all of you have the artistic ability to draw that for sure. And it even gives you more of an opportunity to customize the staircase situation if you want to. So I'm going to stop my share real quick. So a little bit of what things are going to look like moving forward is, that's okay, bro, is this week we're just brainstorming, we're printing out the template, we're getting the template ready. Next week, we're going to start drawing it. So the reason that I want you to create that list of 10 things and turn it into me is A, we want grades, we like grades that are good. And 2, I want to look at the list of things that you want to incorporate and teach you how to draw some of those things, or upload resources for how to draw or incorporate some of those things. Next week, I'm also going to teach you how to add on to your room or make it look like things are going back in the distance and giving it perspective. And then that final week, so this is going to be a 3-week thing, the final week is going to be you adding detail or you adding color to your assignment to make it even more detailed and make it even more your own. Something that I, again, said at the beginning of the class, but if you want to work ahead, you can. You're going to have that entire slideshow so you can see examples of what other people have done. I linked a video for how to make things look like they're going back in the distance. So you can work ahead if you want to, or you can take it week by week and just do a little bit of baby steps each week. The main thing is that you do the thing, okay? So does anybody have any questions about that? You can do it digitally if you want to. If you wanted to build something 3-dimensional, you can. If you like want to just print it out and draw it or draw in your sketchbook, that's totally okay too. But right now we're just brainstorming 10 things that we want, in our little thing. No questions? Good. Okay. So I'm going to stop this recording.